Friends, 785 days of war between Russia and Ukraine. As the time is passing, the situation is becoming more favorable for the Russian army, especially in the eastern war zone. In southern war zone on Kherson front, however, there are no changes since long. Zaporizhia, where Russians made some gains, where the fight is going on for the central of the village, hold 30%. However, in Verbov, northwest, no changes, fight continues. Rimivki salient, Staromayorsky fight is on in the western side, no changes towards Eurozone. In east, on Marinka front, no Mikhailovka, where Russians hold 90% of the village, no significant changes, and so is the situation in Mashi Nostroitel, where they hold 80%. No changes towards Pobeda itself. Georgievka, now where the Russians hold 20%, offensive operation continuing and they are creeping forward. North of Marinka, that is Krasnohorivka, now Russians hold 7% after they advanced almost 200 meters from the southeast and 300 meters from the southern outskirts, a good gain for them. Avdiivka front, Nevelsky fight is on in the north and northwest direction. Netaylovo, Russians advanced and entered from the east and northeast. Yasnobrodovka, no changes. Orlovka direction towards Umansky, Russians advanced almost 100 meters from the south and southeastern outskirts. Semyonovka, Russians gained almost 200 meters. Now they hold 70% of this village. Berdichi, where they hold 90%, no changes. In northern flank of Avdiivka, Russians advanced towards Novobakhmutivka in the approaches, and in Ocheteryne directions, once again towards approaches, but almost 300 meters they gained. Kalinovka, they advanced approximately 100 meters, where they hold now 20%. Bakhmut in southern flank, Kleshivka, no gains, no changes, while in Chasiv direction, Krasnoye, Russians advanced 100 meters from the northeast direction. Kalinovka, no changes. North of Soledar, that is in Siversk region, in Vimki direction, Russians made some gains. Russians also advanced towards Verkhone Kamensky. Belgorovka fight continues for the quarry heads. In north, Liman, that is Terni direction, as well as in Kupian Swato direction, no changes. Interdiction missions, Ukrainians tried to hit and were successful Russian targets in Crimea, while Russians continuing their operations deeper inside Ukraine as before. Palestine Israel Middle East IDF, after a weeks of silence, restarted their operations in central Gaza, while Hezbollah is continuing launching rockets, and they were able to hit 7 settlements in Israel. Peskov confirmed that withdrawal of Russian peacekeepers from Nagorno-Karabakh has started, that is from Artsakh. After the fall of Armenian leadership and merger of Nagorno-Karabakh into Azerbaijan, their presence was meaningless. Georgia, despite all resistance, has passed law on foreign fund, and similar law was also passed in Kyrgyzstan, where Soros Foundation is withdrawing because they cannot operate there anymore. The geopolitical situation globally, economically, militarily, as well as socially and politically is worsening, and the fight between Russian Federation and the USA is leading the world to Third World War alongside climate degeneration. IMF Fiscal Monitor has reported that global public debt will increase to 93.8, let us say 94% of GDP in 2024, and it will reach almost 99% by 2029. How our governments are running, we can estimate. We also know that NATO is preparing Moldova as well as Romania along with its NATO troops, and their aim is naturally Odisha, which is very important for the USA and their puppets. In addition to military, the economic warfare continues between USA, China, and BRICS is the byproduct of that, where Colombia too now wants to become member of it. Do you remember the famous saying by Abraham Lincoln, of the people, by the people, for the people? And in real sense, taken today, logically and scientifically, it means what I have been talking about since the beginning, that is, tilting towards the whole situation in the left direction where people control the power. Well, that's all. Thank you.